Dear students, in this video I am going to explain one of the method for analysis of heat exchangers, that is LMTD method, that is logarithmic mean temperature difference method. Analysis of heat exchangers is very much required to be able to express the total amount of heat transfer from hot fluid to cold fluid in terms of overall heat transfer coefficient U, surface area of heat exchangers A, and the inlet temperature and exit temperature of the hot and cold fluids. So if you want the total amount of heat transfer Q, you must know all the geometrical conditions or the conditions of the heat exchangers and also the overall heat transfer coefficient together with the inlet and exit temperatures of the hot and cold fluids. And we can do this by using two different methods. One is logarithmic mean temperature difference method or LMTD method, and the other one is effectiveness number of transfer units method. So in this session I am going to explain about logarithmic mean temperature difference for different cases of heat exchangers like parallel flow, counter flow, cross flow, and also multipass flow heat exchanger. LMTD method is often used by engineers to determine the temperature driving force for heat transfer in heat exchangers. We know that from Newton's law of cooling, heat transfer due to convection from a hot surface to a cold fluid can be found out by knowing the heat transfer coefficient between the surface and the fluid and the surface area, and also the temperature difference between the two surfaces and the fluids. But in case of heat exchanger, we need to find out the temperature difference between the hot and cold fluid, but this one, that is the temperature difference between the hot and cold fluids at any given length from the inlet, is not the same for heat exchanger, whether it is parallel flow or counter flow. You can observe that in the temperature variations for both cases. In case of parallel flow heat exchanger, you can see that the temperature difference keeps on decreasing from the inlet to the outlet. Whereas in case of hot fluid, in case of counter flow also, the temperature variation between the hot and cold fluid may differ along the length of the heat exchanger. That means the temperature change that takes place across the heat exchanger from the entrance to the exit is not linear. So we can't use such a simpler expression from Newton's law of cooling for a surface for to be applied for heat exchange between hot and cold fluids in a heat exchanger. So that's the why we use logarithmic mean temperature difference method. There are some assumptions made in LMTD analysis. Few of them are: overall heat transfer coefficient U is constant, mass flow rate of each fluid, hot and cold fluids, is constant. That is, if you take mh dot and mc dot, they are constants, and specific heat of each fluid is constant. And also there is no phase change during the heat transfer process, no external losses, so external losses are neglected. So some of the terminology used in derivations are: m dot c is the mass flow rate of cold fluid in kg per second. Similarly, m dot h or ms dot is the mass flow rate of the hot fluid in kg per second. Remember, these are the mass flow rates expressed in SI units, kg per second. Cc, or sometimes in textbooks it is C written as Cpc, is the specific heat at constant pressure for cold fluid in joules per kg Kelvin or kg per degree Celsius, and Ch is specific heat at constant pressure for hot fluid in joule per kg degree Celsius. Thi is the inlet temperature of hot fluid in degree Celsius, and Th0 is the outlet temperature of hot fluid in degree Celsius. And similarly, Tci is the inlet temperature of cold fluid in degree Celsius, and Tco is the outlet temperature of cold fluid in degree Celsius. In many of the equations, this product m dot into c, that is mass flow rate into specific heat, appears frequently in the analysis of heat exchangers. That's why we replace this term by a single term called capital C, that is heat capacity. So heat capacity of hot fluid and cold fluid are written separately. This is a heat capacity is valid for all heat exchangers. We can write the heat capacity of hot fluid as capital C. You must make out the difference between small c. Small c is specific heat, whereas capital C is heat capacity. Heat capacity of hot fluid CH is equal to mh dot into CH in expressed in joule per degree Celsius. Similarly, heat capacity of cold fluid is equal to Cc is equal to m dot C into Cc in joule per degree Celsius. We have this derivation for LMTD of parallel flow heat exchangers. Let us consider this sketch wherein parallel flow heat exchanger and the temperature variation for different the hot and cold fluids are shown. You can see the inlet temperature of hot fluid THI reduces to TH naught at the outlet. Similarly, TCI, which is the inlet temperature of cold fluid, increases to TCO, and T theta I, which is the temperature difference at the inlet, is taken as THI minus TCI. Similarly, theta naught is equal to TH naught minus TC naught. Now, considering an element dx of the tube at a distance x, the temperature difference between the two fluids at a distance x is taken as Th minus Tc. That is, Th is the temperature of the hot fluid at dx, or the element dx, and Tc is the temperature of the cold fluid of that element at that element now. So theta is equal to Th minus Tc. Now I call this equation as 1. And if the hot fluid travels from x to x plus dx, where dx is a small distance, and that is the equivalent to dimension of the element considered, the decrease in temperature is dth for cold fluid, for hot fluid, and similarly increase in temperature of cold fluid is dTc. Now energy balance equation for the element dx gives heat lost by the hot fluid due to travel of distance dx should be equal to heat gained by the cold fluid due to travel of distance dx, which should be equal to heat transfer from hot to cold fluid by an area dA, element area dA then. Now assuming dq is the quantity of heat transferred in the element dx, or in the elemental area dA, then we have from the energy balance equation we can write that as dq is equal to minus ch into dth. Ch is specific heat capacity, which is the product of mass flow rate and specific heat. Similarly, here you can see a negative sign because dth in the direction of flow is negative. So when you introduce a negative sign already, so finally dq should be a positive quantity. So we have introduced a negative sign for dq is equal to minus ch into dth, and that is also equal to cc into dtc. That is, there is a temperature increase, dTc will be positive, so Cc into dTc will be dQ, and which is again equal to U, overall heat transfer coefficient, into dA, elemental area, multiplied by temperature difference at dx. Now this equation is termed as equation 2. From equation 2 we can rearrange these terms and write dth is equal to minus u into dA theta divided by ch. Similarly, dTc can be written as u into dA theta divided by cc. So now we have got two expressions, 1 and 2. Theta is equal to Th minus Tc, and just now we have obtained dTh and dTc, we call that as equation 2. And differentiating this equation 1, we get d theta is equal to dTh minus dTc. Now we have got this equation as 3. We can substitute dth and dtc from equation 2 in equation 3. In doing so, we get d theta is equal to minus u dA theta divided by ch minus u dA theta divided by cc, which can be further reduced to minus d theta is equal to minus u dA theta into 1 by ch plus 1 by cc. And rearranging the terms, we have d theta divided by theta is equal to minus u dA into 1 by ch plus 1 by cc, and I call this equation as equation 4. Now integrating this equation 4 within the limits theta I and theta naught. Remember, theta I is temperature difference at the inlet, Thi minus Tci, and T naught is the temperature difference at the outlet, Tho minus Tc naught. So now integrating within the limits, we get the area from inlet to outlet. If you can just see the right hand side of this equation, the integral of dA within the interval 0 to a, because at the inlet a will be equal to 0 and at the outlet a will be equal to capital A, that is the surface area. And simplifying it, and remember theta, integral of 1 by theta is log, natural log there, and so we can write either ln of theta naught, it's already the limits applied there within the, that is theta naught and theta I. We get the expression for expression continued, and we call this equation as equation 5. And we also have that heat lost by hot fluid should be equal to heat gained by the cold fluid, and this is for the total heat exchanger. Q should be equal to we know using MCPDT, CH, that is heat capacity, multiplied by THI minus TH naught. Remember, THI will be greater than TH naught, so it is a positive term. So we have Q is equal to CH into THI minus TH naught. That is also equal to CC into TCO minus TCI. That means TCO is greater than TCI. We have this expression from which we can also write that, that is from equation 6, we can write that CH is equal to Q by THI minus TH naught, and also CC is equal to Q by TCO minus TCI. So we have equation 5 and 6 with us now, and now substituting CH and CC from equation 6 to equation 5, we get log of theta naught by theta I to the base e is equal to minus UA into THI minus TH naught plus TCO minus divided by Q plus TCO minus TCI by Q. And since Q is common in the denominator of the RHS, we can take it out and express it. And also we know that theta is equal to THI minus TCI and theta naught is equal to THI minus TC naught. So we can rewrite that expression like this. And since there is a negative sign in the RHS, we can just rewrite this equation by just taking this negative sign inside and rearranging it. We get log of theta naught by theta I to the base e equal to UA by Q multiplied by theta naught minus theta I. And or you can also write this expression as log of theta I by theta naught to the base e is equal to UA into UA by Q into theta I minus theta naught, where theta is THI minus TCI and theta naught is TH naught minus TC naught. And by rearranging the equation, we can get Q is equal to UA into theta I minus theta naught divided by log of theta I by theta naught to the base e. Or we can just put that term in the RHS by theta m, and that is Q is equal to UA into theta m, where theta m is the LMTD for parallel flow heat exchanger, that is given by theta I minus theta naught divided by log of theta I by theta naught to the base E. So remember this equation, theta m is the general equation what we have obtained, where theta I values are particular. Theta I and theta naught are actually theta I is thi minus tci, and theta naught is equal to th naught minus tc naught. This is particularly for parallel flow heat exchanger, whereas for counter flow this theta I and theta naught equation will change, even though theta m is the generalized equation that will remain the same. We have now a derivation of LMTD for counter flow heat exchangers. Let us analyze the sketch first. We have taken the hot fluid entry from the left and the direction to the right, and cold fluid entry from the right, and it flows to the left. And the terminologies THI, TH naught are same, that is inlet temperature of hot fluid and outlet temperature of hot fluid. TCI and TCO are the inlet and outlet temperatures of the cold fluid. But this time theta I and theta naught changes. Theta I is THI minus TCO, and theta naught is TH naught minus TCI. This is the major difference. And the length is considered as capital L there, and even in this case we have considered a small element of dx at a distance of x from the inlet, and because of that the temperature difference between the two fluids at distance x is now theta is equal to th minus tc, equation 1. And if the fluid hot fluid travels from x to x plus dx, the decrease in temperature is dth, and similarly there will be an reduction in temperature of cold fluid dTc. I mean, starting from x to dx, in this case the if you just analyze the sketch properly, from x to x plus dx, dth is going negative. Similarly, if you consider from x to dt x plus dx, even dtc is negative. That's the difference compared to the parallel flow. Now from energy balance equation, we have heat lost by hot fluid to travel of distance dx is equal to heat gained by cold fluid due to travel of distance dx, which should be equal to heat transfer from hot fluid to cold fluid by an area dA. So from this we can write dq, which is the quantity of heat transferred in that element, and because of the area dA, we can write this equation as dq is equal to minus ch into dth, and also equal to minus cc into dtc. This is because both dth and dtc are negative in the positive x direction, and which is equal to uda into theta, where u is the overall heat transfer coefficient, and we call this equation as 2, and we can rearrange this equation 2 as dth is equal to minus u dA theta divided by ch, and dtc is equal to minus u dA theta by ch. Now we have got equation 1 and 2, from which theta is equal to th minus tc, and we have arrived at dth and dtc separately. Now differentiating equation 1, we get d theta is equal to dth minus dtc. Now we can substitute dtch and dtc from equation 2 in equation 3. In doing so, we get d theta is equal to minus uda theta divided by dch plus uda theta divided by ch, and we can rewrite this equation as d theta is equal to minus uda theta into 1 by ch minus 1 by cc. And now we have rearranged this equation as d theta by theta is equal to minus uda into 1 by ch minus 1 by cc. You can observe minus sign within the parameter, the brackets, and we call this equation as 4, And now integrating this equation 4 within the limit theta I and theta naught, where theta I is thi minus tco this time, and theta naught is tho minus tci. Integrating, we get, and again the right hand limit is 0 to a for a, and now we get log of theta naught by theta I to the base e is equal to minus ua into 1 by ch minus 1 by cc, equation 5 there. And again we recalling that heat lost by hot fluid is equal to heat gained by cold fluid for the heat exchanger. This is the total heat, so q is equal to ch into thi minus th naught is equal to tcc into tco minus tci. And we call this equation as 6, from which we can get ch is equal to q by thi minus t naught, and tcc is equal to q by tco minus tci. And since we have got this equation 5 and 6, substituting this equation 6, that is ch and cc, in equation 5, we get log of theta naught by theta I to the base e is equal to minus ua into thi minus tco by q minus tho minus tci by q. So, and we can simplify in the same manner what we did for parallel flow heat exchanger, rearranging the terms. This time theta I and theta naught are different, so arranging these temperature terms in such a way so that this forms a group dimension the temperature difference. Now thi minus tco is replaced by theta I, and similarly tho minus tci is replaced by theta naught. And further, since because of the negative sign taken in the RHS, we can rewrite the RHS as ua into theta naught by theta I divided by q. Or you can also write this log of theta I by theta naught is equal to ua by q into theta I minus theta naught. And theta I and theta naught are defined for counter flow heat exchanger like this, that is theta I is equal to, I repeat, theta and theta naught are different for counter flow. Theta I is thi minus tco, theta naught is tho minus tci. And because of this, we can write the expression for q ua into theta I minus theta naught log of theta I by theta naught. And replacing that term by theta m, we can have this q written as ua into theta m, where theta m is separately theta I minus theta naught divided by log of theta I to the to theta naught to the base e. And this is the expression for LMTD for counter flow heat exchangers. Remember, this equation looks very similar to that of parallel flow heat exchanger, but theta I and theta naught values because of their expressions are different for counter flow. And there is a situation which may arise here because of this condition. Remember, in case of a parallel flow heat exchanger, theta I can never be equal to theta naught. But in case of counter flow heat exchanger, there is a possibility that theta I sometimes becomes equal to theta naught. So in that such case, what will happen to the equation for LMTD? So 0 by 0 is in indeterminate form. So the best idea is to go ahead with the L'Hospital rule to solve or to try to get an expression for LMTD for such a case of theta I is equal to theta naught. So the limiting value of this LMTD can be obtained only by applying the L'Hospital rule. So the limiting value of this LMTD is by differentiating the numerator and denominator separately as theta naught is changing and approaching theta I. So theta naught is tending to be theta I. So using this condition, we have expression for LMTD for theta I is equal to theta naught equal to differential of numerator and denominator separately. When you take that, theta I taken constant, that is 0 minus since you are differentiating this with respect to theta naught, minus 1 because of the negative sign in there, and similarly log of theta I to the base e also 0, but log of theta naught to the base e is 1 by theta naught, and after simplification you get LMTD is equal to theta naught. That means you get an expression for LMTD which is also equal to arithmetic mean temperature difference, that is equal to theta naught or theta I. This means that the temperature difference causing that heat flow in the heat exchanger is the same throughout the length, and for this AMTD is nothing but arithmetic mean temperature difference. And even in your lab experiments you may get a situation in which theta I is equal to theta naught only for counterflow. In such cases you have to use this L'Hospital rule in order to arrive at the solution. So in such cases you can take LMTD is equal to AMTD is equal to theta naught is equal to theta I. Now we have got LMTD for cross flow heat exchangers. Rate of heat flow in a heat exchanger is given by Q is equal to U into A into LMTD. That defined for cross flow heat exchanger is written as UA into theta M for cross flow. But cross flow heat exchanger we have to get this theta M by getting the counterflow LMTD first. So we have theta M, that is LMTD for cross flow, equal to F, which is a correction factor, multiplied by theta M for counterflow. That means you have to first get the theta M for counterflow and multiply it by the correction factor, which is obtained from the charts, and then you get it. And you know that theta M equation we know for counterflow, use theta I and theta naught are also known to us for the counterflow, and from the which we can write the equation for Q as UAF into theta M for counterflow. And now in almost all the charts available, these temperatures are expressed in a different way, like capital T expressed as hot for hot fluid, and small t or lowercase t is expressed for cold fluid, and subscript 1 refers to inlet, subscript 2 refers to outlet. Using these substitutions we can get theta I and theta naught as T1 minus small t2, theta naught is equal to capital T2 minus T1. And we also know that heat lost by hot fluid is equal to heat gain by cold fluid, and according to the new terminology we have got Q is equal to CH into T1 minus T2 is equal to Cc into small t2 minus T1. And rearranging this equation for CH and Cc, we can write CH is equal to Q by capital T minus 1 T1 minus T2, Cc is equal to Q minus small t2 minus T1. And if you just now rearrange this equation, otherwise divide Cc by Ch, we can express this as T capital T1 minus T2 small t2 minus small t1. That means this is actually the ratio of heat capacities of cold fluid and hot fluid. Cc by Ch is the ratio of specific heats of cold fluid and hot fluid. And now this term is used frequently in the charts as R. R is equal to Cc by Ch. And also there is another dimensionless temperature, that is P, which is small t2 minus t1 divided by capital T1 minus T1. That means here we have got R and P which are expressed in graphical form, and so that from the values of R and P you can get the correction factor for a particular case. Since we are talking about cross flow heat exchangers, and there are different configurations of cross flow heat exchangers, and for single pass cross flow exchanger, when both the fluids are unmixed, we have this chart here. You can look at that x coordinate where P is used, and correction factor is available in the y coordinate, and for different values of R, that is the ratio of specific heats, the curves are drawn, and in order to get correction factor you must know this R and P. So for that reason you must know all the temperatures, all the four temperatures, that is inlet and outlet temperatures of both hot and cold fluids. So this becomes one of the limitations to the use of LMTD. In LMTD procedure, we will have to know all the four temperatures. So that's why we have to in case when all the temperatures are not known, we will have to look into other options. Otherwise, getting the unknown temperature from LMTD method is much more complex because of this temperature variation. LMTD equation is logarithmic in nature, and we can obtain this chart for another case of single pass cross flow heat exchanger. One fluid is mixed and the other is unmixed. This plot is for a second case where one fluid is mixed and the other fluid is unmixed, where R and P are supposed to be same, and also correction factor. The method of obtaining the correction factor from R and P remains the same. And this kind of study is extended to even multipass flows. Okay, multipass flow heat exchanger also uses similar concept in obtaining the temperature difference. So rate of heat flow in a multipass heat flow heat exchanger is Q is equal to U A into theta m for multipass flow, and whereas LMTD for multipass flow is given as correction factor multiplied by theta m for counter flow, where theta m is is given by theta I minus theta naught log of theta I by theta naught. And we also know that we can rewrite this equation for Q as UAF into theta m for counter flow for multipass equation for Q for multipass flow heat exchangers. Theta I and theta naught for counter flow are known, and since in this case we can express the capital T as shell side fluid and small t as tube side fluid. This is because in most of the applications, the in case of a multipass flow or shell and tube heat exchanger, the fluid which is cold, okay, the cold fluid is usually flown inside the tubes, whereas the hot fluid is flown over the tubes. Whether it is an example of an evaporator or a boiler, we know that if it is a water tube boiler, water flows inside the tubes which is cold, and the flue gases resulting from the combustion of coal that will flow over the water tubes. And even in air preheaters used in power plants, air preheaters are those devices which recover the energy from the flue gases which are going out. And even in such cases, the air which is to be preheated will be flowing inside the tubes, and the external flow will be of the flue gases. Flue gases are relatively hotter, and because so that's why the representation of capital T and small t is generally taken as shell side tube and tube side fluid respectively. And as usual, subscript 1 refers to the inlet and subscript 2 refers to the outlet. And also you can say that the capital T is for hot fluid and small t is for cold fluid. And in using this representations, we can write theta I and theta naught as similar to the previous discussion, and R is obtained, that is the ratio of specific heats, and also P is obtained that way. P is taken there, and now correction factor plot for heat exchanger with one shell pass. Remember, there are different configurations possible, but here we have taken one shell pass and 2, 4, 6, 8, any multiples of that tube passes. This chart is applicable. This chart is applicable to one shell pass and 2, 4, 6, 8 such multiples of tube passes. And here also you can see P is in x coordinate, correction factor is in y coordinate, and for different values of R the curves are plotted, and by knowing P and R and extrapolating and extending that to y intercept, that is correction factor, you can get the correction factor for particular values of temperatures, and that is T1, T2, and the capital ones also hot and cold fluid temperatures. And a similar plot is available for 2 shell pass and 2468 or any multiples of tube passes also. We can have this plot. So all four plots will look similar, but there will be a slight change in value there. For each cases, you can just say the curves are different, and you can make it out. And I'll provide you a different compilation of all these charts separately along with this video, so you can have a look at that and use it in the calculations. The next video will be on some problems are related to this, and also the next part of it is effectiveness method. The next method is effectiveness method.